Nice. Put it. Today is November 29th, 2023. The interviewee is Maya Toivas. I am Susan Kendall, and we are in North York, Ontario, Canada.
Anytime.
You ready?
Yeah.
Hi, Maya.
Hi,
Thank you for bringing us into your home.
you're welcome.
I wanted to start, if you can just say your name and your age and where you were born.
Yes, I will introduce myself. I am Maya Toivis. I was born January 19, 1939 in a small town Bershad in Ukraine.
What was like?
Vinnytsia District.
Sorry, I'm noticing interference with your mic. Is that okay, or can I change your mic for a second?
Do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm rolling.
From the beginning?
From the beginning, that'd be
Okay.
great. Thank you.
So, thank you, Maya, for bringing us into your home. I'd like to begin by asking you if you can tell us about your childhood and growing up. We'll begin with your name and your birth date.
Okay. I'm Maya Toivis. I was born January 19, 1939 in a small town Bershad in Ukraine, Vinnytsia District. My family consisted from my parents, Usher, my father, 39-year-old that time, my mother, Ruhu, 28, and my sister, Anne, 7-year-old. I live in a very happy family. My father was working as a shoemaker. My mother was a housewife. She was looking for us, the girls. That was very very energetic. And then I have cousins, and I have a lot of cousins, friends, and then in a while, in one moment, our life was changed.
What was it like before? What did your house look like?
Our house was like now we say a townhouse. It was a small house that it was only one bedroom, a family room, one bedroom, a kitchen, and also we have a balcony, but it is one floor, and the balcony was on the earth. But nobody, not very, everybody is having such a house. It was smaller, it was better, or it was not worse, but everybody is making a living. We have a big park, and we often go to the park and a river. That summertime we go to the river to swim, to have fun, and in a while our life was changed. It was when Germany, Trichos, was attacking the Soviet Union, and the life changed immediately, and and it was going uphill, because the same day, it was June the 22nd, 1941, they started the war and bombed our capital, Kyiv, and in 6 days they bombed also our city. and the bomb it was awful because the black birds appear in the cloudless skies, and then roar started like the earth was cracked in a while, and then a cloud of black dust appear, and what in it get very bad and very we feel fear. I tell about the memories of my mom, my sister, and my memories of the life that time. And people was panic and don't know what kind it is. And then we hear the explosion, and the bomb hit the very nice synagogue. It was a two-story building, and one of the wall was ruined, and also nearby houses. And a man and two women was the first victims. And then we didn't know what to do, but after that, me, my family, and the family of my uncle decided to evacuate. My grandfather had horses in a wagon, so he gave us the horses in the wagon. He decided to stay, and we gather. My parents gather the most important clothes, jewelry, and put the trunks in the wagon, and we start our journey.
Do you remember before that, was your city that you lived in mostly Jewish?
Yeah,
Before?
our city was in the center of the city, was living mostly Jewish in the center. It was 4,500 Jews living in the city. And after the war, it was only 2,000. So we start to evacuate on the road. It was summer, it was hot, it was dry, and on the road was the same refugees like we now, our family, and
Were they walking?
they was in the with wagons, they walking with small and it was children, it was adults, old people, it was the children was crying, and it was the squawk of the wheels of the wagons, and it was very dusty.
What did you do with your house? Did you?
On the house, my father locked the house and put on the window planks, and we start to walk. Some belongings, the winter clothes, the pillows, the blankets, they put in a shelter that my father dig the shelter under the floor of the bedroom. There was a bed, and he then put everything there, and that it will be not visible, the lid. It was some rug on the lid. And then when we walk, the Soviet soldiers, the Red Army passed by, and we stop in some villages on the wells to make a drink, to fill the bottles with water. And one night,
What did you eat?
we exchange our clothes for bread, for milk, in the villages. And then one night we wake up of the noise of motorcycles. The fascist army, they surrounded us, and they start to grab everything what we have in our trunks, and we start to cry, and other children. The officer put the gun on the crowd and said that we have to follow his orders, and if somebody will be run, he shoot them.
How old were you?
I was 2.5 years, but it was not only my family and my uncle's family. It was other people with us, and he ordered to go back to our towns, and we go back. It was a very difficult time because the Nazis put their orders in the villages and the towns, and we walk sometimes at night. And
Do you remember what you did during the day?
the day when we walk, sometimes the fascist airplane was in the sky, and then we hide in the field and lie down. When the bus was finished, then we walk again. We was sitting in the wagons, and the parents was walking beside that for the horses will be easier. And then in a month, the people was not very friendly that time, because it was order, the Nazis order, and they didn't wasn't friendly to the Jews. In a month we came home. Our home was, the window was broken, the planks was taken off, and it was looted, the house. But some furniture was there, and on the floor was ripped books and pictures, because I don't have many pictures. And then some neighbors bring a lot of items back before they looted, because they didn't know that we will come back.
Non-Jewish neighbors?
Jewish neighbors. Jewish neighbors, yeah. And after that, the Nazis established a ghetto. It was in August 1941. They established a ghetto, but the ghetto was the governor of Romania. It was called Transnistria, from Dniester to Bug. And it was 6 ghettos, but Berched was the biggest and the brutal. The Romanians, they take a lot of, ask somebody from the Jews to work in a Judenrat. This is like a municipality. And it was a policies from the Ukrainian people that they work in the ghetto, and also it was a gendarmerie. The gendarmes was there. And
Do you remember what you did in the ghetto every day? What it looked like?
every day we was in fear to go out, and they order us to wear a yellow star. And
Did you go to school? Did you play with other
No.
kids?
I didn't go to school because I was little, but my 10 they established a school, and my elder sister was going to the school. It was Jewish teachers. In 10 she was studying with me. When I was maybe 4 or 5 years, she teach me. I'm left-handed, and she was tying my left hand to the chair that I have to write with my right hand, and my writing with the right hand is better than with the left.
Do you remember what you ate? Do you remember what you did at night?
What we ate? My father was working but not a shoemaker. He was fixing the shoes for the Romanian soldiers, and he also was a tailor, fixing the uniforms for not only some people that can do this. Also, the peasants was coming to us, and he was fixing their shoes, and they brought instead food for us, a glass of sugar, flour, sometimes fish, sometimes other products, and also they brought wood. My father put in middle of the bedroom from iron stove that we can put their wood, because we had oven, but we didn't have enough wood for the oven. So on this iron stove, we was boiling the water, we was cooking, and it was warm in the bedroom.
Where did you live? How many? Was it one bedroom?
It was one bedroom. A bed was there for my parents, and a smaller bed for me and my sister.
Was there a bathroom?
No, it was outside. And then
did you celebrate any holidays?
Oh no. In several weeks, it was the Romanian were escorted the refugees from Bukovina in Bessarabia. This is from Romania, also Jewish people. It was 20,000, and they put them in every house. The ghetto was 337 houses. Some Jews that they live outside the ghetto, they was moved to the ghetto. They moved them to the ghetto, ordered to move to the ghetto, and they start to live in the houses, empty houses. And then in every house was overcrowded with the refugees. They was sick, they was malnutritionists, they was lice, they have a lot of lice, the kids was dystrophic, and in our house was 12 people in the family room. They was sleeping on the sofa and on the couch, on the big dinner table, under the table, and it was very cold. That time when they came, their legs was swollen, they was sick. My mom sometimes spare food for them and give them, because they was very desperate. And then in the town erupted a typhus epidemic. In every house was a lot of sick people, and we also was getting sick, and the borders also getting sick, and they soon one by one passed away. It was not only in our house, it was in other houses, and it was winter time, and every day the gates of the ghetto was open. Yes, the ghetto was partitioned from other streets with wooden fence, and on the top a barbed wire. And sometimes we was looking through the slits, me, my sister, and the cousins, because our house was right behind the fence. How from the house that was belonging to my uncle's family, there was living a polizei, and every day he was going to work in a uniform. On his sleeves was a swastika, and he is carrying automatic rifle, and by a motorcycle he was leaving the house, and in evening he was coming. Also, the time when the borders passed away, one by one, 10,000 passed away. It was the gate of the ghetto was opening, and on the slates they put the corpses on the slates, and they are carrying them to the cemetery. When I was elder, I go with my mom to the cemetery, and there was a place that nobody was buried. And I asked what kind of place it is, and she told me that this is the burial of the refugees. In our town also was start resistant. It was partisans. The leader of the partisans was a young lieutenant that he was running from the Nazis, and he was the leader of the partisans. Usually they was in the woods, but at night they are coming, and they was, for example, they helped to run 900 prisoners from the jail. They was also doing on the vokzal, they was sometimes explosion. Also was a group of young resistance. It was young men and girls, group of 20 people. They was putting the leaflets on the wall, telling, they was reading, listen to the radio and telling what is going on, the fighting and so. But one day, yes, from time to time, the SS, the fascists, come in the town, and then we was hiding in the shelter and sit there while they are in the city, in the town, because they was the police was escorting them, and when they saw somebody on the street, they were shooting them. And young men and young girls, women, they was grabbing and they was escorting them to Germany for work. And one day the police caught a man that was putting the leaflets on the wall, and he was tortured, and he didn't bear the tortures, and he told about the youth resistance, and they was executed, 20 girls and men. And also he told about that other who wasn't in the partisans, with the partisans, they was undertaking them, and it was a list who was helping the partisans, because they hope that when it will come the Soviets, they will show that people was helping. And we get know that that if the man will run, so the Nazis will take the families for hostages. So they didn't run. It was 300 men, and every night, one by one, they go on and from house to house and taking the men. One night, my parents wait. They know that the soldiers will come for my father. So one night we hear a loud banging on the door, and they burst inside and take my father with the gun. The order to hurry fast to get dressed, and they put them in the basement of the gendarmerie. Every day my mom and other wives, they coming to the commandatur to know about their fight, but they didn't know anything. It was 2 weeks that they was in the gendarmerie, and then they disappear. It was almost the 1944. It was, and then in a month when they was in the gendarmerie, the Romanian soldiers first leave, and then was leaving the through the town was coming the Nazis. Oh, I didn't tell some episode. My sister in the evening was suffocated by a fish bone in her throat. And my mom and my father, they know that it was an order that after 6 o'clock nobody has to be on the street. They risk it, and they go to the doctor. The doctor helped her.
A Jewish doctor?
A Jewish doctor from the refugees. He was. In a while, he was arrested because he was helping the partisans. And they tortured him, they beat him, and then he was, his clothes was in blood, and they was marching him through the streets, and in the back and in his was a sign: if the leader of the partisan Yasha Talis will not appear, they will put in flame the ghetto. And then they hung him, and they forbid to bury him, and he was hanging a long time. But in the beginning of 1944, the situation was changed, and the Nazis was going through the town, and they left. And we was hiding in the shelter because we didn't know what will be.
Where was the shelter?
The shelter was under the underground, that my father dig this secret. And we was sitting very calm, and we start to cough, or so my mom covered with her hand our mouth, because
How old were you?
over me, over my
How old were
sister.
you?
That time I was 5-year-old, so I remember how they take my father, how we sit in this shelter.
For how long would you stay there?
Several days, because we didn't know what is going on. And then my mom.
Did you have food?
We take with us the food and sit there, and it was their pillows, and it was a blanket, because there was cold. And it was in the beginning of March. And then my mom go out and take us also, because people was running to the bridge. Yasha Talis with the partisans came to ahead of the Red Army, the tanks, and the soldier opened the slit, and the people start to kiss him, to greet him, and they established a field kitchen, and they was feeding everybody, and it was very yummy, because we didn't eat a lot of time such food. And then the soldiers left. They are going west, and we was worried that the Nazis will come back, but the Nazis didn't come. And after that, in a while, a peasant is coming to the town, and he told that he was living nearby a forest, and one night he heard roaring trucks, and he go and hide in what is going on. And he saw a lot of trucks. They are open the trucks, and the polizei urging the men go out. And then they ordered the men to dig a big grave. And also they tell them to take off the clothes. And after that he heard the shooting. And the shooting lasts several hours. And in the morning, when he is coming, he saw a mass grave, a fresh mass grave. So he is coming and telling about what he saw. No, and the wives, the widows ran there, and also the Soviet the Soviet organizations, they are digging the grave, exhumating the corpses, and the wives buried. Everybody was finding their man, husband, and reburied on the Jewish cemetery. After that, my mom was very busy, and I stayed with my sister and with the cousins. And
What was your mother doing?
my mom was burying my father. Yeah, and I stayed with the sis, and they start to play with me and tossing to each other. And the stove was very hot, and I was falling with my hand on the stove, and my hand was burned. So they put my hand in cold water, and I cry and cry. And then I get tired and fell asleep. When my mom came, so she asked why I'm sleeping during the day. So they didn't tell, but then she discovered and was very upset. And after that, my mom was looking for a job, and she couldn't find, so she was doing some what he find. The Soviet organization start to work, the school also start to work, the library start to work.
In the ghetto.
No, it was when
outside of the ghetto.
yeah,
Okay.
when the Nazis left, we was liberated. So
Where did you go?
where we go, we stay in our home.
Okay.
We stay in our house.
Your house was.
Yeah. And during the war, my sister start to teach me to read, and then was open a library, and it was only one place that we have the entertainment. To the library was a big line. Everybody is coming for books. And I also go to the library and take books and read. This was only the entertainment because we didn't have no radio, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Did everybody come back from the ghetto?
from the ghetto was free,
Mm-hmm.
was free, liberated, liberated, and the refugees they left from Bessarabia, from and some people is coming from the evacuation who evacuated. So then it was only 2,000 Jews in the town. And in September start the school. My sister, the cousins, they was a little bit elder. They go to school, and I decided why I have to sit home. I also go to school. Before that, it was a list who is coming to school, because in our school the grade 1 start at 7 years old. And I wasn't 7 years, I was 6 years old. And I came to the school, everybody was on the list, and I'm not. And I was not very tall, little, and the teacher asked, okay, and I said, in me. She said, what is your name? You're not on the list. Where is your birth certificate? I said, I don't have because of the war. She believed me. I'm 7 years old. And when I start the school, I was a very good student. And when I was 7 years, I go to the teacher and I said to her, you know, I lied to you because now I'm 7. No, she didn't have a choice. She cannot, because I was the best student in the class.
Was everybody Jewish in the class?
No, it was a school for Jewish and Ukrainian.
And was everybody nice to each other?
Yeah, yeah. Everybody was nice and not fighting, not calling names. We didn't know this. And so I studied the whole time, and I graduated from grade 7. I was 13-year-old, so I cannot go in a college out from the city, the town. But in our town was a teacher's college. And I was in our country was the best. It was the score was 5, so I have all 5. Excellent, this means. So I go to the teachers' college in our town, and I studied there. Despite I was 13-year-old, but I studied there 4 years. And when I graduated from the teachers' college, I go to work in a village. In a village I go to work. Because it was late to go to university. And I worked there 1 year. And after that, I'm going to the university, and I have to pass exams. I passed 5 exams, and I was admitted to the university in Odessa. It was a big city on the black and I was studied there 6 years.
Did you, before you went there, you lived at home with your mom?
Yeah, yeah.
And what
yeah.
was life like?
It was very hard, but in 2 years after my mom remarried a man that came from the front, and he was a widow because his family was in concentration camp. His wife and 3 daughters, they was dead there. So he remarried my mom, and he also was a shoemaker. My mom had a Zinger machine, and he was working in the combinat and also at home. And sometimes she was helping him in his work, because he was a shoemaker. He was only doing the upper side, not the. And he was a very nice master, and he has he has a lot of job at home, and he work also there.
And did you get back into Jewish traditions and things like that?
My stepfather, he was very educated in Jewish kid. He was reading Jewish books, and he was going to the synagogue, not to the synagogue that I told, the big building, because then it was ruined. But after the war, despite that it was ruined one wall, that was a cinema, and we was going to watch the movies there. And then the organization, Soviet organization, the municipality decided to ruin the synagogue. And in our town was another synagogue, a small, and people going to the synagogue there. And my grandfather every Saturday was going to the synagogue. My mother was going to the synagogue only at the Jewish holidays. And it was an old synagogue, and there was 2 stories. Also, on the first story was davening the man, and on the second story was the woman. We didn't go to the synagogue because in school we start to be pioneers. Pioneers, this is a organization for kids. In the grade 8, it was another organization for youth, Komsomol. And we was forbidden to go to the synagogue. Also, it was not only forbidden the religion, Jewish religion, also was forbidden the Christian religions. Because we have to be atheists. So when I graduated from the university, I go back to work in our school. And I worked 35 years in the same school where I studied before. My sister was studying in Odessa, and she was a laborant. That she was working in a laboratory to take the blood. Yeah, and but she was very beautiful. I will show you the picture. And when she graduated from the college in Odessa, she came home and she met a guy that he wasn't working in our town. He was working seaman. Yeah, and he was saw her, and he wanted to marry her. And she got married, and she was living in a city on the Baltic Sea, Kaliningrad. Before it was belonging to the Germany, Königsberg. So she was living there the whole time. Before then she immigrated to the United States. And I get married in my town and live the whole my life in Bershet. And why I decided to do the story, my story, because I didn't think that never in my life I will again experience what I experienced in the ghetto. It is after that I see the slaughters, the massacre that occurred October the 7th, 2023 in Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mother remarried, and she's had with my stepfather a girl. So I had a half sister, and she was living. First, she studied in school, and then in Königsberg in Kaliningrad, where my sister was living, and then she got married and lived in Lvov. This is a city in Ukraine, a big city, western city. Then she emigrated with her husband to Israel. And she had a son that he was studying in Lvov, and then he was coming to Israel and go to the army, and after the army he graduated from a college and working in a big plant, electronic plant. And I get married in Bershad.
Where did you meet?
I meet my husband when he came to his friend from another town that was nearby, and we get married, get to know each other, and we get married. I have 2 sons. One son, they live with me here in Toronto. One son was studying in Lvov, and he is an engineer construction. And the other son was studying in Russia in a city Kalinin, and graduated from a medical school, and he is a dentist. When we came here, it was very hard.
How did you get here? Why?
Why? Because my husband had a brother, and he sponsored us. His brother came to Toronto in 1980, before he was living in Israel, and immigrated to Canada. He was also engineer construction and working as a builder. So he sponsored us, and when we came, he rented for us an apartment. And then my sons, they started to work, and my elder son, first he was working as a truck driver, and then he was working as a builder, and now he's a real estate. And my younger son also worked in a on a gas station and in a store. And then when he passed the exam and studied 2 years in a qualifying program in U of T and received his license, he started to work as a dentist. And it is 22 years as he's having his office. And he got married, and his wife was a teacher of math and chemistry, but she did her master's in administration. So now she didn't work as a teacher, she worked as a vice principal in school, Bathurst in Westminster, a big school. And I have 3 grandchildren. One, the elder grandson, he is in Guelph University, the fourth year studied. My granddaughter is now the first year in London University, and the little one is 8-year-old in grade 3. So this is my story.
And how were you treated when you arrived in Canada?
When we arrived to Canada, it was very hard. I was studying English because I didn't know English. I studied first in Jewish community, and then I find a school at Western Road in Finch, Emery Collegiate, and there was 900 students, half of of students, teenager, and half of adults. And I study English 3 years to my diploma because and I need grade 12 English. So when I have grade 12 English, so then I have a letter of eligibility from the Ministry of Teachers and I can work. But I'm a teacher of Russian language and literature. So I didn't find a job as a teacher because that time it wasn't in school. Now it was in some school. They learn Russian, but that time no. It was only one newspaper, and I go to work as a proofreader in this newspaper, Golos. I worked several months as a volunteer, and the owner of the newspaper said, I cannot pay you. So I go to work as a babysitter. And I work as a babysitter, and then I find in newspaper that it is all languages school and they need teachers. So I called them and they said, okay, we need you as a teacher, but we have only 2 hours a week. So I go every week 2 hours and work as a babysitter. And then I start tutoring. I have several students for tutoring, and I'm old. I was old. I came here to Canada when I was 54 years old. So then my sons, they start to work at their occupation. It was easier, and my younger son got married. This is the picture of him. He's, yeah. And my elder son have not a good relationship here, and he's not married. But they both have houses, nice houses, cars, and make a good living.
Mm-hmm. And what do you have? Do you believe in God now?
I don't go to the synagogue. I go to the synagogue only for Yom Kippur, for Yurtzat. In the shul here, not so far, is a office of the Jewish community. For every relative, I go and give donation. And at home I have Yurtzat, and I pay that they will say Kaddish for my relatives, my father, stepfather, my husband, my husband's father, his mother. My husband also was in ghetto. This is my family, and it is very hard for me to recall the memories of my childhood.
Mm-hmm. And what are your feelings about the world now and what's happening?
I wake up and put on the TV and watch the YouTube, and it is very hard for me to hear because in Israel I have a lot of relatives, friends, all Jewish, and my nephew, because my sister passed away. The other sister is in Los Angeles with her family.
Mm-hmm. Do you worry about another Holocaust happening? Do you think it's possible?
I don't know, but I'm afraid.
You're afraid.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Today I saw on the TV that the doors of North University, North York University, was put like with blood covered. They put and they demand that the teachers in of the university that was fired, that they will be bring back. The brother of my daughter-in-law, he's working as a professor in North York University. He's having one group and he's working only 2 days. So he said that it is the environment very bad.
Mm-hmm. Is there something that you would say to these people if you could?
Yeah, I don't know what kind of people it is. I only know that they are paid. Somebody paid them, that they are going to the demonstration, that they are. But you know, some people believe in this because they are coming here, they are Palestinian, and they are brought in the belief that they have to come back and erase Israel. They believe in this because what is going in the family, the kids growing up with the beliefs what is in the family.
Mm-hmm.
And I hear that some they ask people, it was so 61% old people and 61% young people, they believe the same because they was bringing in the family like this.
And when you had children, what were you teaching your children about the future?
About the future, my kids was studying in the same school where I work, and every time I didn't tell them do this, do this. Every time I told them behave that I will be not ashamed of you. And they saw how I behave, how my husband behave, so they cannot be other people. And now my kids also, they are in the politics, and my grandchildren the same. My granddaughter, she is in a Jewish youth club in the Jewish community that it is on the north. And she was volunteering in Jewish community, and she even go to Los Angeles for a conference. And yeah, they are active Jewish people.
Mm-hmm.
And the little one, he also have friends, Jewish friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that they will be Jewish.
Mm-hmm. And
And my daughter-in-law, every Jewish holiday, she is going to the synagogue and sitting there.
mm-hmm. Do you still believe in God?
I believe, sure, I think that God will make, will be making what is the right things. I believe.
Believe.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any part of your story that you want to tell us that you have not?
Can you grab your water too?
There is a bottle take the bottle and take.
Apologies that I coughed. I tried.
Yes.
I tried.
Is there any stories or anything that you want to tell us that you haven't shared?
What else?
A memory, something.
When my son was maybe in the grade 4 or 5, to our school is coming a new student, and his father was a policeman, and it was and work in the police, and they was coming from a village, So he started to call my son, and my son was also the best student in class and have a lot of friends. And in his class was a lot of students that their parents was directors, their parents was in the big organization. And he said to the friends that we have to give a lessons to the student. And it was the recess, and they go beside the school was a big stadium. They go there to play, and they start to beat him, the student. And my son is going around and said, "You know for what? You know for what?" And then my husband, he was at that time working as a manager of a big agriculture company that supply we have farmers, big farm, kolkhozes, supply to them the tractors, combines, and sometimes the people are coming to my husband for orders. So he was meeting the policeman and told him, "You know, your son is doing." "Oh, it cannot be. In our family, never, never." But my husband told him if he didn't hear this in the family, he will never do this. And also I work in a school that was several Jewish teachers, and in every class was a lot of Jewish children. So everybody want to work in that class where it is a lot of Jewish children, because the Jewish children behave very good in their study, also better than the Ukrainian students. And the last time when I worked, it was a little Jewish kids, because a lot of Jewish families immigrated to Israel, to Australia, to the United States. So it was a small amount of Jewish kids. And sometimes it was the principal of the school, he wasn't pleased that the kids emigrated. And one day a Jewish student, he was in grade 9, his family emigrated to Israel, and it is coming the vice principal and said to him, why you emigrate? Stay. So, and her son was in the same class. He said to her, Mom, how he will stay? His family will move. You will take, he will live with us. So she said, I forbid the class to go to him when he will emigrate to celebrate. So the children said, okay, we will not go. And one of the girls that she make the farewell in her house, and all the children coming to
Say goodbye.
say goodbye. So it was a terrible time when it started the migration. My my niece, my cousin's daughter, she was a teacher of English language in school, and she emigrated. So it was a meeting in school, and all the teachers has to say to her that she is about her, that and they wanted I say the same.
That she was what?
Why she emigrated, it is not good. And the head of the Communist Party in school wanted I said the same. I said, I'm not a communist, and I'm not allowed to say anything. It is my niece, and I will say to her that it is not good. And then when she immigrated to Israel, the teacher asked me what she is writing. I said she is teaching in a school English language, and she live very good.
Mm-hmm. Is there any pictures that you want to show us or anything?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Want us to-
I want to cut.
This is my elder son Brandon, and his sister, my younger granddaughter Rihanna.
Thank you.
And this is all my grandchildren, Brandon, Rihanna, and Logan. They are in Mexico.
You can actually bring it down a tiny bit, the picture frame, just letting you know. Just bring it down a tiny bit more. Keep going, keep going. That is perfect. I just want to see your face.
Yeah.
And can you repeat that just one more time for us?
This is my grandson Brandon, Rihanna, and Logan.
Thank you.
They are in Mexico.
Table there.
This is my granddaughter Rihanna. This is her graduation from high school. Oh. Wait, I take it. And this is the little one, Logan.
Did you want to show your sister?
Yeah,
Sisters?
Great.
give me the.
Alright,
Oh, this is the synagogue.
all this.
Okay, I will hold this.
All this.
I might actually just put something here for you so you can put the pictures on.
Okay, this is my family.
Wait for.
That's fine. She's
Okay,
Okay.
this is my family. My late husband Boris, my elder son Zinovi, and younger son Alex, in myself.
I'll just hold the pictures for you on the side here.
Not
You,
good.
you can keep handing them to me, and I'll just sit here.
Mhm. And this is the synagogue that was ruined when it is bombed. And then the Soviet municipality ruined the whole synagogue and made there a market.
Sorry, not yet. Apologies here. I just want to make sure there's no reflections. So that was the only worry. All right.
And this is my younger son and Logan. Now I will show you the pictures.
Sit over here now. Just highlight.
This is my younger sister, Dora. Okay? And this is my mom's house, beside my mom's house. And this is also my younger sister, Dora, and she in Israel. In Israel, she was working in a Russian newspaper as a proofreader. Okay, now I will show you. This is me in school with my students. Okay. Here is my mother.
Yeah, tilt it down a tiny bit for me.
Down.
Thank you.
My mother and and her grandchildren, my sons, beside her house.
Just a quick question. After this, do you want me to do the black behind, usually like single photos?
I've never.
Oh, okay. That's okay.
And here is the invitation for my wedding.
Great, thank you.
I've seen that.
There is also a picture of my parents, my mother and my.
Can we stop right here? I'm gonna set up for this thing right here. We're gonna do another way of rolling, and anytime.
Okay, this is my father and my mother before the war.
Great, thank you. Anytime.
Okay, this is me when I graduated from university in Odessa.
Great, thank you. And you can actually you can point and then and then bring your fingers out
Okay.
just to say.
This is my sister, her husband, son, and daughter. They now live in Los Angeles.
Okay, cut.